Hello and welcome back. Today we are doing a modern house exterior where I will later be doing an interior and also posting that as a speed build. To start up, we're doing the walls at the exterior to have like the shape of the house to go out from, and trying to find colors and materials that will be nice. Now that the form of the house is done, we will start by making a front door and some windows and structurals on these brown sides to make it a little more lifelike. I'm using a secret door to make it a little more customized, so it's not just any door and you can have it any way you want. I just made a black outline and some smaller cubes in it with a hanger with structurals off it to make the handle. Now copy that design to the other side of the door as well. Now I made some structurals and I made them the whole way around. I just started coloring them the same color as the wall. I don't know why I did that, it just made it really hard to see where it was, so I recommend doing the texture and actual color you want first. That was the first side with the door, which is pretty hard because some of them need to be redone. Then I'm just finding a texture that I like and having another texture in the wall behind, so it's easier. Now copying the color one to the other walls, and if you would like you can make windows here, but I don't want windows here. I think I'm gonna do kitchen and other stuff that don't need that, and a lot of pictures on the inside. Now here's how we're gonna do windows. It's gonna be 2 windows, so it's rounded in the top, and then we're gonna use some other structurals to make it fit around the window. Copy them to where you would like them, and then we're gonna start doing the things around it. From here it's just to make them the same thickness and to add the squares down the whole way, and then do the last side. Now the stone wall is still pretty boring, so we're gonna add some pillars to it, placing them just so they're not touching the wall or just not in the wall, and then doing structurals from one to another in straight lines so it has some kind of texture. Remember the corners, so it's easier to have the same heights. Now just take the basic square, standard square, size 1, and place it over and do as much like room between as you wish, but I just put a little bit in between because it's easier. Copy that on in between all the pillars, and then we can add windows from the inside so you can see, or you can choose not to see, these beams from the inside. It should look something like this. Now for the little roof top over the wood area, we're just doing this. You can have whatever texture you want beneath it, and on top of it, to just not go into the hard work we used to make the things in the side, make a basic shape, and on that you can make the beams again. It should end up looking something like this. Now for the upstairs room, we want a lot of windows because I want to be very open. I'm just using a standard window and sizing it up because it's easy instead of doing completely customized ones. Find the right size and then copy it to the other side so you get a lot of light through the whole room upstairs. Get them to line up somewhere you think looks pretty, and then we start the next area, which is making a basic shape and getting it to the same height as one storage. And to do that you can just place it in a wall and find it there with the smaller cubes. Make it out and change it to small size, color it like the light color on the wood walls, and then copy it around so it should fill this first small area of the window. Do that all the way up so it's two on top of each other and on both sides. Now for like the driveway entry area, we're doing some floors around to make it an area you can get into the house and driveway, and some hedges and plants. But this is just a little too much, so we're gonna make it a little differently. So we're starting by doing the plants, and we're gonna change this up a little bit because I didn't like how it was all the way up to the house and all the way to the road. But it's the same colors and things as we're gonna use, so just keeping it to think about it. And then I'm doing the driveway where you can get your car if you want one. For the driveway I chose to just use standard gray concrete and have it all the way up to not go into like the things we have. The house is for itself and the other things are in front of it. To get a little more fun things in, I'm using the smallest fence and I'm coloring it the same color as the grasses and just making some things out of it so it looks a little fun. You can do it like you want to, but I chose to do it this way because I thought it looked pretty great and would match the house. Also made a walkway to the front door with these and colored them the same color as the road and incised them a little bit. Had two sizes, a big and a small, and then placed them kind of in the same thing as with the driveway. All the way down to the driveway to connect so you can walk in. As you can see, the walking lines up perfectly with the driveway, and then we're gonna change this gardening area. And I didn't like exactly how it were all the way out to the things, so I tried to make it a little area between. As you can see, it took a few times to do it, and here you go. This is the final form. Now I also did something a little like this form on the other side, just a little longer with a little less L in the end, like that. And with the thing around, and then I start doing 2 planes that we're gonna copy around, changing from 1 to 2, all of them. First, I use 3 scrap bushes, one which is very wide and not so tall. Second one is a little wide and tall, and the third one is just very tall. Colored them the same colors. And with the biggest grid, you can copy them into each other. It's easier on mobile, where you can move them and then go backwards and then place as you see there, and you can do that multiple times, so it's really easy. As the second plane, I just chose this spinning hedge tree because it's easy and it's kind of pretty too. I really like it. I love the update. And yeah, I'm just placing them all down first because it's easier, and then doing the bush all the other places that's left. Here's how it should look when you're finished, and then from the wall behind here, the stone wall, with putting in a garden hose, and I'm thinking about putting in a work table. You can do that if you want. It's really good for your place, where you can have a little mechanic area to fix your car. Now for a little different, I want some outside lighting. I'm choosing this landscape spotlight, having it one in each end where the car is going to be parked if you want one. And then I am using some landscape uplighting with the same colors as the spotlighting around the whole path, so you can see where you're driving or walking for that sake. Here's how it ended up looking for me. It can be closer or further away from you if you like more or less lighting. Now, so that I could see the flooring from when you make that, you put in some bigger structural beams the whole way around on the upper floor and just trace them a little bit in so they match with the wall thickness and that stuff. You do that the whole way around. And there we go. You can also do it on the last part, but I'm not doing it right now. And then to make it look like, you know, there's actually something, I'm doing the flooring and coloring the lower side to make it match. Now for the mailbox and trash cans, I'm using the modern mailbox and I'm placing it on the right side near the bush, turning it a little bit so it's facing upwards, and then coloring it so it matches the house. The trash cans I place all the way up behind here at the stone wall, so it isn't like at the front, and so it's easier when you go out, you can put your trash and go in again pretty easily. Now the final roof I do as I did in the first one, where I make flooring and then I just make a lot of black cubes all over it in just the standard height, so not change too much. Now that looks pretty good, but the wooden things that go over the window looks a little unfinished. But let's start with the windows downstairs. As I said, you can make these and you can choose if you want to see the beams or if you want to see the beams and lighting or what you want to do. But you can go in and place them in between the beams and get lighting that way. And that's how it looks from the outside. Now for the back wall, we're doing more windows and not the big ones this time because we want to make rooms up here. So I'm doing the smaller like side versions and placing them, just moving them a little longer into the middle to make the rooms better, and also trying to put one at the back but it wouldn't let me. Now over here, because I feel like that's gonna be a big room, I am putting in another one of these, but instead of using one with the smaller ones on both sides, I'm using the one which has in one side and turning that away. And that's how the window is gonna look. Now for something else, we're doing the small wooden basic shapes, And to make it the right height, we're doing the basic shape on top and taking it out so we can measure it. Now we know it cost 36 from where it was to get it to the right height, and just doing that on all of them on both sides. Now for the wooden things laying over the roof, I'm just sizing the one we used to measure it down and sizing it so it goes directly over the first one, and copying it at them all on both sides and filling the hole in the middle with a last one. If you want, you can do a personal backyard, but I chose to just put in some trees and hills to make it look kind of nice from the windows. And I'm copying the trees from the front and coloring them. The hills I make by going down to the basement, taking a mansard roof and just making these random forms and pulling them up and doing them in each other, coloring it like stone grass. It's kind of easy, but it takes a little time. And I chose to make a lot of layers to make it more realistic, like it was an actual hill that was right here. And to make it even more realistic, I placed a lot of different kind of trees in the backyard, and I'm checking to see how it looks. And I'm also doing the flooring over here with the black beneath because I forgot. Also in the backyard, placed a lot of different plants to make it even more realistic and color them differently or size them up and down. Here's how it ended up looking for me. I hope you liked the video and I hope you liked the house. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.